Well, hello again. It's Mr. T, and today we're going to be working with our letter X again. This is our day 2 video with the letter X. So again, there are not a lot of words that start with the letter X. There are some names like Xavier, and there are a few things that we might talk about in science or maybe even in math here at school, or you might even hear them discussed later on. And this is our first word right here. Let's see if we can figure out what this word is. Let me go over that again. All right, so here's our first word. How many vowel sounds do you see? I see 1, 2. That tells me this is a 2-syllable word. So if I look at this, I have to say, what am I going to do? This is a vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant. So I have to decide where I'm going to divide this word. If I divide in front of the X, then I get A. It's open, right? There's nothing after it. And then X. X makes that X sound, right? X. And EL. L. L. Well, that's hard to say. And together I would get X, Axel, Axel, Axel. No, that doesn't sound like a word. So what if this is a short vowel sound and I divide it after the X? Now what do I get? Ax, O, ax, O, axle, like an axle. So this is an axle. An axle is what wheels spin on. They spin on an axle. So how would I write that in cursive? Well, I would start on the ground to make my A, and I would go up and over the hill, stop, come back around, come down to the ground, go up and touch, come back down to the ground, swoop out. Now I'm going to go upstairs, downstairs. I'm going to swoop out, and I'm going to go up and make that loop into my E, and come back down to the ground and go all the way up to the roof and make that loop for the L and come back down to the ground and then swoop out. I'm going to cross my X and I have the word axle. All right, here's another word. The earth spins on its, what do you think this word is? Well, again, I see 2 vowel sounds, so I know it's a 2-syllable word. Well, in the first word, when I tried to divide it by putting the line in front of the X, it made it really hard to say. So I'm going to try it after the X this time. And I know that AX now says ax. And then what would this say? What does IS say? If. So that means together it says ax is, axis, axis. Yeah, the earth spins on its axis. So how do I write that in cursive? Well, again, I'm going to start on the ground. I'm going to go up and over the hill, come back around, come back down to the ground, and go upstairs, connect, come down to the ground. I'm going to go upstairs again, and then I'm going to come down to the ground. I'm going to swoop out, and I'm going to go upstairs, and then back downstairs, make my I. Then I'm going to swoop out, I'm going to go upstairs. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that big fat belly. I'm going to touch my toes. I'm going to swoop out. And I get after I dot my I and cross my X, axis. There's a couple other words I could think of that have an X in it. And actually, both these words have two X's in it. The first one is a term for a company. When we used to make copies a long time ago, there were a type of copies from a company. And we would say, hey, I need to Xerox that. Now, if I'm just talking about I'm going to go Xerox something, it became a word. This is actually a company name. It should be capitalized. But since I'm going to go Xerox it, I'm not talking about the company. I'm saying I'm going to make a copy. And Xerox copiers were so popular that the name Xerox became a verb for when you go make a copy. I'm going to go Xerox that. So in this case, I'm just talking about copying. That's why it's not capitalized. So I've got two X's. See? So I'm going to start on the ground, and I'm going to go upstairs, downstairs. I'm going to go upstairs and make that loop for the E, come back down to the ground. I'm going to swoop out, and I'm going to go up into my R. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to come over diagonally, and I come back down. I'm going to swoop out, and I'm going to go upstairs and over the hill, come back around. I'm going to connect and make that loop at the top, and I'm going to reach out. And then from here, I'm just going to go downstairs. I'm going to swoop out, and I got to go. Now I have to go back and cross all my X's. Cross my X, cross my X. Xerox. Okay, well, what if I am talking about the company Xerox? Well, that'd be a capital X. And we haven't talked about how to make a capital X yet. But a capital X is a lot like a lowercase x. When I start with my capital X, I don't start on the ground. I'm going to start way up here in the air, almost at the top line, almost upstairs at the roof. So where that dot is, I'm going to start about right there. And then I'm going to start here, and I'm going to make like a little rainbow, like that. See that? My little rainbow there? So let me start over again. I'm going to start here. I'm going to make that little rainbow, and then I'm going to come down to the ground, and I'm going to swoop into my next letter. And then I'm going to cross it. X. Really, it looks like a capital X, doesn't it? With a little swoop there and a little swoop there. Hey, look, it's a cursive X. So how would I write Xerox if I mean the company? Well, I start up here in the air, near the top line, near the upstairs. I'm going to make that little rainbow at the top. I'm going to come straight down to the ground. I'm going to swoop out, and then I'm going to go up into my E, make my E. Then I'm going to go upstairs, make that little straight line, come down to the ground, swoop out, go up and over into the O, come back around, make that loop at the top, reach out, go down to the ground, swoop out, cross my X, cross my capital X, and I get the word Xerox. I should have made my line a little longer there. Now I'm talking about the company Xerox. Now my last word is the name. So it's going to be capitalized too with another capital X. I'm going to start up here near the upstairs. And my word is the name of an ancient king, a king of Persia. That was a long time ago, back before the Romans. And his name was Xerxes. And Xerxes the first, Xerxes the Great, spelled his name X-E-R-X-E-S. Xerxes. Well, how would I spell that? I mean, how would I write that in cursive? I already know how to spell it. I just wrote it. But how would I write that in cursive? Well, we're going to start upstairs, just below the line, and we're going to go ahead and make that little rainbow and then come down diagonally, swoop out and upstairs into the E, come back down to the ground, swoop out and go upstairs into my R. I'll make the diagonal top of my R, come down to the ground, swoop out, and I'm going to go upstairs. And then my next X, come downstairs, swoop out into my E, and I make the loop that goes upstairs. Boy, there's so many directions these days. That's because we're writing longer words. We're going to come down, we're going to swoop out, we're going to go upstairs. We're going to put the big fat belly on the S, touch our toes, and reach out. Again, I needed a longer line. Now I got to cross my X's. Cross my capital X, cross my lowercase x. Xerxes. Well, I hope you have a good morning and keep on writing. And hey, today we practiced the lowercase x and we learned how to make the capital X. All right, well, you have a good day and keep on writing.